Welcome back everybody to Saurus 001's channel, and this is Duel Universe. So, many of you have probably already heard of this game. If not, well, I suggest you probably just pop in for a trial and give it a bit of a go. But anyway, today I want to talk to you about setting up your factory. Now, this is my basic factory that I have here. I'm setting up a T3 factory over there. It's just started to go in. But we're just going to talk about the basic factory and the honeycomb factory for now. So, first thing that you're going to need when you're setting up the factory is one of these, a container. Doesn't really matter what size container you use, but the larger the better, because it will allow you to store more ore, and your factory will run better the longer you have stored ore. Now, the first thing you're going to need is 8 of these refiners. Now, you can do this with just 4, but I use 8 because it allows me to make uncommon items in this factory as well. So you set up each refiner with a different ore type. So we've got pure iron, pure silicon, and as you can see down the line and over here, these 4 over here are my calcium and copper and so on and so forth. Now, what I have done is I have set up this large container here, and this is where people will drop off my ore. So basically I set up a hauling mission. If you haven't seen that video, I suggest you check it out. It's my previous video. So they will drop off the ore in here, and I turn around and put it in this container here, and then the whole production chain starts. It gets fed through the refiners and goes into this container over here, right? This container holds all of the purified metals, purified minerals, and the oxygen and hydrogen, and I basically link this out into the smelters and the chemical factories, and each smelter, once again, has a different type. Now, if you'll notice, I have actually set a limit for how much these will produce, so they won't use all of the resource all the time. Now, there is a reason for this. The reason for this is that if you have them using all the resources at all the time, then what you'll do is you'll be overloaded on one resource and the other ones won't be filling up at all, because you'll run out of pure metal in your base container. So I've set all these up, and there's tier 2 stuff here as well, like Duramin and stainless steel, and the other one's calcium reinforced copper product. And over here we have our chemical factories. Now, one of these is producing the polycarbonate that I need, and the other one is well, it should have been producing, oh, maybe it's this one. Well, the other one is producing the polycalcite that I need. Now, once you've got it to this stage, things get a little bit trickier, because you're going to have to be feeding these products into, like, well, look at all of those. You got to feed them into all of those metalworks, all of these electronics factories, and the 3D printers. They all have to be fed from just those smelters. Now, when you're linking from containers, you only have 10 links into the container, and you only have 10 links out of the container. So you can see the problem. We've got 6, 7, 8 links going into the container, which is all very well. That's only 8 links. But coming out, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, you get the idea. And that is a bit of a problem. So there is a solution, and this is what I do. I put down a separate container for each product that I'm going to be using. So this one here has steel. This one here has stainless steel, polycalcite, Duramin, etc. And you put down an individual container for each one of these things. I don't have an individual container for every single product yet, because I haven't needed to at this point. But you feed the smelters into these containers, and you send them from those containers. We'll just switch this on for a moment. So if we get the links, you send them from these containers into the other production facilities. So these ones over here, and as you can see, I've got links going everywhere. It's very important to keep account of your links when you're doing this sort of thing. But anyway, we've got the polycarbonate from here and the calcium reinforced product and the stainless steel. But what we've got is, if we highlight this, we come over here. So it's going into this electronics factory. This electronics factory is producing basic electronics with polycarbonate. Now it needs basic components as well. So we've got some basic components somewhere around here. Oh, I think it's over here actually. Yeah, so these basic components, once again, I have set a maintain number on it, because otherwise you'll just be producing one product and you'll just be overloaded with one product and you won't be able to produce anything else because just making that product too quickly. Like for example, this basic component is 2 minutes and 57 seconds and it makes 26 of them, right? But this basic electronics, it only makes 4 and it's 2 minutes and 35 seconds. It only uses 16 of those basic components to make one batch of this. So that means that you've got another 10 left over. And it's basically the same time period as well. So if you were to leave your basic components to just produce constantly, what you'll do is you'll find that you're overloaded on basic components and you don't have enough polycarbonate to make your basic electronics. Because if you look at this basic components, it uses ALFE, but there are some things that uses the same sort of thing. Like this one uses polycarbonate plastic product and the basic components and so on and so forth. But you've got to actually do a little bit of a measurement and figure out how much you need, and this is how you figure out how much you need on a particular product. It's the end product that matters. So this is just some basic container L, because I've been setting up a new factory. I've started production on this. But if this number, see this uses basic components as well. If this number is not, is too high for what you're actually producing, then you're not producing enough of them. You're not storing enough of them, and you're not going to be able to produce your end products. So that's what you've really got to keep an eye on when you're doing this sort of thing. And as you can see, I've got an extra small factory, a small factory, 3 mediums. I have 3 mediums because medium factories are where you produce the majority of your products. I have 2 large factories because that's where you make your large components, like your large jet engines and your medium containers and your large containers and stuff like that. So you need those as well. I haven't really found a need for an XL factory yet. I'm sure there is a need for one, but I've never really needed it. And as you can see, there is a limitation to this because you can still only have 10 links in and out from each container. And once the links are all used up, then that's it. You can't use that container anymore. And if you're pumping all of your product into that particular container, then you're not going to be able to use that container to ship it out or take any more products in or anything like that. So what you need to do in this situation, I've just started setting this up the other day. I did have containers and stuff, but I moved them over there into that factory because I'm setting up a tier 3 factory. Is you put a container down here and your refiners, and once again, and you start a secondary production chain coming down through here just for like your basic components and stuff like that that you use over in your electronics factories. There is no limit to how far these things can link in your factory. You can go from one side of the factory to the other. It doesn't matter where they're produced on the factory. They don't have to be produced on the same production line for you to use them in your factory. So you can have 2 production chains running and producing products producing end products, and they will still be able to be linked to anywhere in the entire factory. So this was just a basic setup so that I could get like basic components and basic electronics and things like that. This was just basically what this setup was for, and like reinforced frames and things like that. That was all that setup was for. And I had a large container there, and I had some refiners there, and then I had a 2 large containers over here. The large container there fed into a pure container here, and then the pure fed into these smelters and the chemical factories, and then from the pure it would feed into the container next to it, and from that container next to it I'll feed it out into these. You can see there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things, and this was just so that I could produce it, and they would all come out of that container, and then I would have a storage container up the back here that I would keep those products in, and if I needed to I would link them into other products over here. Now, 2 production lines can be set up on a medium factory. This is a medium static core. I have a couple of small static cores over there. They will not do the job very well, but a medium factory, you can set up 2 production lines running pretty easily, and I still haven't even filled in this space. I'm not sure what I'm going to put in there, but I still haven't filled in that space. But as you can see, there's enough space to run 2 full production lines. And what I've got is I've got over here my mining units. They are constantly churning out materials in the corner here, and I am feeding them directly into my production container over here. So the production container will basically take the ore that's being produced from those over there and automatically start producing goods through this production line and dump them in containers and stuff until they're full up with whatever product it is that they need at the time. And you can set all of these. You can repurpose this factory to build you basically anything you want, up to uncommon quality, and that's basically it. So that's how you start your production chain for your basic factory. The next thing that I want to show you is the honeycomb factory. So this is my honeycomb factory over here. You can see I've actually named it something very astute, honeycomb factory. And now we've got 1 container over there that houses the pure product. So basically I dump the pure product in here and it feeds into these refiners. Now I'm not going to show you what it is I'm making, because if you do that then everyone starts doing it and it's just frustrating as hell. Make sure that you do your math on honeycomb production. Get your spreadsheet out, plug in all the numbers, and make sure that you have all your schematics and everything ready to go before you start your production. Because these things have been churning out my product for days and days on end, and all I have to do is top up the schematics. Because honeycomb, yes, it does use some product, but you'll find that you'll be overloaded with ore after you've done a few batches. You'll find that you've got so much ore that you just don't know what to do with it anymore. And basically what I've got over here is I've got the ore being dumped into this container, and these refiners over here and these 2 refiners will refine them into the products that I need for the honeycomb, and these are the honeycomb refineries. Now you don't need a huge amount of honeycomb refineries. You will actually find that you really only need 1 or 2 honeycomb refineries. I do not have these honeycomb refineries running flat out all the time, because it takes like 3 minutes to produce a batch of honeycomb, but it will take you 2 hours to produce the product to put through the honeycomb factories in the first place. So basically what I do is I make the product that I need, it feeds into these, and they output it into this container over here, and then I just transfer this container stuff into this ship over here, take it over to Market 6 and sell it. And if I'm feeling lazy, what I'll do is I'll chuck it in this parcel container, pack it up and ship it to whatever destination I want, usually Market 6, and put it on the market up there with a hauling contract, a hauling plus sell contract. And I never actually have to leave this block ever again in my entire life, which is pretty good because I don't really like traveling. I do have a ship that I'm not going to show you that I have actually made out of Duralmin. That's a particular honeycomb. It's a tier 2 honeycomb type that I've just got for PvP. And when I have a little bit too much cash, I decide to just build myself one of those, and I take it out and I just basically fight people until the thing goes boom, and then I'm back here and then I just continue producing my stuff. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel, and I will see you all next time. Peace out.